You obviously base your just yourself around animation, illustration, and video games. Can I say that? That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a big part of me growing up and what I surround myself with, and it's basically been my inspiration my entire life. So, yeah, I've grown up with like animated movies, video games. Just basically, I think I've been drawing since I was really young. So, and that's mainly what just made me what I am today. So yeah, it's a big part, and I actually have to, in a way, I have to thank all of these things that surround me in a way, just to like just my way of saying thanks for making me who I am today. So
So you'd say that all of these companies from like video games, like say just these little from little as say as I don't know. Actually,
oh,
I
like yeah, like Capcom, Treasure, companies that I know now, but I didn't know then. It's like when you're really young, you don't really think of the game company. You just think of
yeah.
the game. It's like when I play Adventure Island, I don't think Hudson. I just see that little B logo and I say like, "Oh, that's cute. All right, I guess they have a mascot or something."
Exactly.
And but when I grow up, it's like I find out companies like Data East and Treasure and Capcom and Nintendo, obviously, but yeah, it's like the more I grew and started to appreciate them, the more I found out about them, and that's kind of like, you know, I really have to thank these companies for making the and the designers, all the artists and everyone that were involved in these games. It's a job, but at the same time, it's like it makes people happy.
Yeah.
When you grow up with these kind of things, there's like you don't think of them as some big corporate thing that probably has some ill intentions. Who knows? But but at the same time, it's like the product that they come up with is like it is merely to entertain someone, and it's that kind of stuff that I like to think about. The things that I've grown up with, all the games that I've enjoyed playing, I just try to think of it in a way that this is what inspired me. This is what I grew up with. These are the kind of things that I would love to do myself as well. And I just like to share that sort of joy.
Of course. Yeah, I totally understand. But I'd like to know what game, and I probably know the answer to this already, but to those who don't, what game, any specific, just comes straight to your mind that has affected you the most in good and bad?
Ronald McDonald in McDonald Land for the Genesis, definitely. No, no,
Seriously?
it's no, no. Actually, a bunch of games come to mind. Like, of course, Mega Man 3 was my first. I really should say Galaga was a big thing because that was. I mean, I found out about that even before Nintendo, or when I got a Nintendo anyway, I should say. Um, Super Mario Brothers. The third one, of course, was the most influential on me.
Hmm.
Uh, and later on, it would start to get a lot of these games I found out about in magazines, and I because I couldn't get a huge collection at my age. Uh, I really had to like pick and choose, but at the same time, it's like I see all these awesome looking games in magazines like Nintendo Power and Game Fan and Electronic Game Monthly. You probably don't get those kind of magazines up there, but over here in the States, it's like really those were like the biggest things to me as a kid going to the stand and just like grabbing about as many game magazines as I could because there were so many.
Yeah.
It was almost like they were in competition with each other. It's like you have so many different. but I guess it also comes with the time because internet wasn't a huge thing as
Mm.
well, and that was mostly where you got your information. And I also think they were a lot more graphical. They really tried to show you everything about the game, especially this magazine called Game Fan, which it would surround itself with like sprites and video game art that would just like it would blow my mind just seeing all of this stuff that was surrounding a game instead of just the in-game graphics.
Mm.
So a lot of games I've grown up with, and some I'm still remembering to this day. Honestly, they just come back because a lot of them were like arcade games.
Yeah.
When you go into an arcade, there would be a cabinet of some really obscure game that I biggest example would be uh, uh, Cosmo Gang. Cosmo Gang. Yeah, for a minute that escaped me. Cosmo Gang was a huge game that I grew up with and I forgot about. And then I see it again somewhere, and I'm saying, it's like, oh my god, I remember that. Those things they
They
sparked something in my mind.
they stay with you, don't they? These
Oh yeah,
things
certainly.
that you don't even realize you grew up with, and then you
Yeah.
see them again, and it just this feeling, doesn't it? It comes back, and
Yeah,
it
it's a
makes
wonderful feeling. It's like
yeah.
I know it's like nostalgia and that's like kind of like a buzzword, but at the same time it's like it's a memorable graphic, it's like the visual triggers of such things. Like I love Rocket Knight Adventures. I love the music of a lot of Sega Genesis games. But that all sparks memories, and that's what really drives my passion about it, is that the fact that these simple things can make your mind just work. It's like they don't really um, a lot of earlier games, they don't really tell you a story like up front. You're just kind of playing it, and you kind of work along the story in your mind yourself. Uh, so that kind of makes your mind go a little bit more, other than just reading, like if you're reading a comic book or something, you're having the story told to you. But with some games, it's like you kind of come up with the story yourself.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of I mean I'm talking about classic
Of
games, right?
course, yeah, where there wasn't much story filler.
Yeah. So yeah, that I basically there's a tons of games that I could probably name off the top of my head that have really inspired me. But to be honest, the main three would probably be Mario, Mega Man, and Rocky Knight Adventures.
Brilliant. That's a
Yeah.
fantastic answer. I couldn't not honestly I could not have said that better myself. That was brilliant. Um on on the topic of what influenced you the most, obviously we've just covered
hmm
the video gaming franchise, beg your pardon,
Franchise. I
franchise.
like. I love video game franchises.
Delicious. um, Obviously, you're very keen in illustration and animation too. So, what sparked that? What was that? Was there some sort of an animated movie or some sort of artist that drove you?
Um,
Or
well, before video games, I grew up with cartoons. I really my dad worked at the Disneyland Hotel over here, so a big part of that was getting the Disney Channel for free, and I grew up with a lot of Disney movies and cartoons. And alongside that, they would also air on other networks. There would be Looney Tunes, there'd be Popeye, a lot of classic cartoons that were actually syndicated at the time I was growing up, which is great because those cartoons are timeless. And when you look back at those, it's like, I mean, some of them are pretty dated, but at the same time, it's like you watch those, they're like comedic timing, the beautiful sceneries, the memorable characters. it goes hand in hand like the same way with games. Going back to that idea of recognizability. When you think of a game, you think of the characters and the stories behind them, and the same goes with like movies and cartoons. So it's a big thing to kind of connect these two things together in some sort of entertainment art form. So the biggest influences on me were probably Disney cartoons, and I was actually talking about this the other day. My first actual memory of a movie ever seeing was The Great Mouse Detective.
Oh
And
yes.
yeah, that's one of my favorite Disney movies. And for a while, it's like it just kind of like I don't know. I can't explain what got me into drawing. I just liked to do it. It's like I just at a really young age, like I just had paper and pencils and just went on. I drew in my own books. I would just like add my own characters to whatever was in those picture books and try to just create my own little characters as well. I mean, I have characters I've had since I was 5. I mean, I so so I never really knew anything about like doing animation or going into cartoons as a job until I was like 10, uh, and then I just really started to pursue animation because I was like, well, I can draw. That's something that I want to do more than just be like okay, this is the three the three main things growing up when you ask kids what they're going to be when they grow up, it's often a firefighter, an astronaut, or a president.
Curious.
They don't ever tell you about any other job that you can do. At least that's from my memory. So when I found out about animation, I was like, "Oh my God, this is not a firefighter, a astronaut, or a president. And this is something that I can probably do." so so yeah, it's just it all stemmed from that. And games as well. Uh, they're also animation. I kind of I'd like to put them both hand in hand because they both have that sort of artistic effort to them.
Yeah, you're
You know,
totally right. Yeah.
yeah,
It, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like you said, they go hand in hand.
hmm
Exactly. That's all right then. Um, is there is there anything you have created so far that you're most proud of yet?
That I've created so
Mm,
far that I'm
that
most proud of.
like if I approached you and said, "Show me what you've got. Show me your best piece," and you go,
Okay.
"Right, immediately, it's this."
Well, yeah, that's gonna be difficult for me because like I never think anything I do is the best.
Oh
So,
man.
so I'm like, I mean, like I'm always trying to do something new and better, but at the same time, it's like I think my most proudest moment was actually making a short for Nickelodeon called Ivan the Unbearable, and it aired with a bunch. It was like an anthology type of cartoon show where 39 shorts were brought together to make a show. They've done it quite a few times, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon especially. And I actually sold one of my ideas and had it made into a 7-minute short, which was honestly like the greatest thing that could ever happen to me because it's I think I was like probably a year into actually being in animation as a career, and the second year that I was into it, I actually sold something, and that was like really exciting. So really, and also it's probably one of the most proudest moments of my own because my father was still alive when I did it. So showing him that really meant something to me, and yeah, it's probably that's like my biggest accomplishment so far. But I mean, like there's other accomplishments. Like I don't. I mean, being in the industry that I am right now, I feel very lucky and happy to be it. So that's an achievement in itself. I just, in terms of proudest moments, I believe that short would be it.
That's a really nice story. That really
Yeah.
is, and I'm gonna look
Yeah.
out for that. I'm gonna listen
Oh yeah,
back on
yeah. No,
this.
actually, if you want to see the short, I have it up on my channel right now. So if you want to check it out, just search for Ivan.
Oh, there we go then.
Ivan the Unbearable. So yeah.
There we go. Ivan the Unbearable on
Hmm.
Andrew Dickman's channel. I will put that in the description below. God, I'd sound like a douche.
like, comment, and subscribe as well.
If you,
You
oh,
have to remind people of this. You have to.
oh, bro, I don't want to twist their arm. It's
Oh, come on! You gotta persuade people.
I'll give them sweets or something. I don't know, marshmallow.
Don't be timid about it either. Demand it.
Demand
So it's like
attention
if you don't like, comment and subscribe,
and describe.
and yes, and describe, describe to my channel what what my channel is. Yeah.
Oh, moving on.
Yeah.
uh, oh, excuse me. Okay, are there times where you get a creative block? Say like you've been hired to do something, or you're just
Oh dear
having
God.
fun, and you just sit there and you just
That could almost be like a weekly thing. It could almost be a
really.
daily thing. I mean, I get so many artist blocks because when it comes to a career in art, you're kind of forced to make yourself draw in order to progress. So it's not so much tough, but it does become a job. So when I'm forced to draw, it's like basically, it's like I'm just doing it, and then after a while, it kind of like you're just chipping away, and afterwards, it's like, oh, okay, I'm all drawn out. I can't do anything else. But it's like it's just like there's no real way to kind of get out of that. You just kind of have to either write it out or just take a moment to read or play a game or watch a movie, and you'll get that drive again because it comes and goes. You just have to like not you just have to not burn yourself out. And I've had many moments like that where I've had sudden bursts of artistic energy and I would just draw and like I would do like weeks and where I'd have hundreds of drawings done, and then I would go into a month where I didn't do anything, and it killed me because I was like, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, do I have fuel? It's like, is there some sort of psychic fuel that it just drains and it has to take a while to get back, and I'm not doing it at a level pace. I don't know. It's really weird. So really, when it comes to blocks, I always tell people, just take it easy. Don't force yourself. Just like take a moment to kind of reflect on other things, and because there's a whole world of different things. I mean, when it comes to being artistic, I always think that if you know about other things as well, it will help you in the long run because then it would expand your knowledge, and when you get into funks, that's when you take that knowledge and you try to bring it into more energy into being an artist. So it's like because when you want to draw something, you just take out a sketchbook and just kind of like do whatever. I mean, there's times where it's like you don't really have a set goal. You should just kind of like do whatever and see if you can accomplish something other outside of things that you would like to achieve. So it really comes down to doing something that you would um, doing something else that would kind of help yourself.
Yeah,
So it's like an expanded knowledge will kind of help you in that regard. So honestly, it's just take your time, do something else, and you will get that energy back.
exactly. So it's
It's like our lives. our lives are longer than people think. I mean, people say that life is short, but and honestly, it's like you have so much time
Yep.
to do things, despite the fact that, I mean, there could be more time in the day, honestly, but in the long run, you can't really do everything in a day. It will take weeks to months to years, and in the long run, it'll probably work best for you because you'll have time to develop and gain more skills and more understanding, and things change constantly. It's so
Exactly. You evolve to
yeah,
become better,
yeah, exactly.
and through that, the path that you set yourself possibly to some sort of amazing goal in creative arts, whether that be a game or in illustration and animation, you'll thank yourself for, like you say, obtaining that knowledge.
Yeah,
And at the end goal, and it's fantastic, and people recognize you for it and say, "Well done."
yeah,
It's
and
worth it.
yeah, and you'll certainly find yourself reaching that goal sooner than you think because of that. So really, it all comes down to just like relax, take your time. Things will get done eventually.
Exactly. Just have faith that everything will be okay. Just
Yeah, yeah,
don't panic, really.
certainly. Yeah.
Some 95 advice right there to any
Mm.
artists that are watching. Um, when you created your eHero video series, where it was just, it's pretty much just a humorous review and observation of your opinion on that particular title. But what would be the process that goes through that? Because the stuff you say in those videos, they sound like they came from books that were written like they're geniuses. I
Oh,
have to
no.
say, I'm not sorry,
Well,
but I don't mean to do the whole flattery thing, but I do get really wrapped in sometimes when you make a speech or some sort of prolonged like paragraph on particularly why you like this particular subject.
well, thank you for that. Yeah, when I created eHeroes, I kind of wanted to make a show about things that I liked, things that I was passionate about, and one of those passions is video games. And I thought to myself, like, I don't really see a lot of people talking about things they like about games. I usually when usually there's like reviews and people will either like it or dislike it, but when it comes to classic games, they'll usually go for the easy targets, I should say. Like I mean, like I draw a ton of inspiration from Angry Video Game Nerd and JonTron and all that, but I know behind all of that anger there is a passion for games as well.
Hmm.
So in a way, I kind of wanted to try to see if I could make good games funny. Because I like to observe. I like to talk about the things that I'm really passionate about and the things that I grew up with and really inspire from. But at the same time, it's like I'm also kind of a riff person. I like to make fun of things. I like to even the things that I like. I show. I end up watching a movie that I really enjoy with friends, and I end up saying dumb things in between it. I'll make weird observations about some of the greatest movies that no one would think of, and they'll laugh because why not? It's fun. I mean, it's just it's not to poke fun at anything. It's to be a little bit more fun and joyous about things that you like.
Yeah,
You can still like something and make fun of it. So
exactly.
so when I came up with eHeroes, it's kind of half of being passionate about something and showing the heart behind it, as well as trying to make some of that funny because the stories that are behind it are pretty hilarious as well. It's like when you're playing a game, you'll notice even the best games, you'll notice like the weird little things that are just kind of out of the norm.
Things
You
that
know,
you'd notice and you
yeah,
think
yeah,
that isn't
like
right.
I mean, Mario Brothers is the best example of this because one of the stage enemies is the freaking sun. I mean, when you think about that, it's like when you think about that, it's such a brilliantly made game, but at the same time, there's that stage where there's a sun and he's going after you, and you can actually kill it.
It's
If you had the star power or like a shell, you could knock it out, and there'd be no sun. Why is it
yeah.
still light out? What happened? You killed the freaking sun.
Oh,
And stuff like that. It's like even even though there's something you find more enjoyment out of these kind of observations because it's something that you're passionate about. So you try to delve more deeply into it and try to understand the world. It's kind of like why I understand a lot of people like Kingdom Hearts. There's a lot of the even though I doubt at any point the developers were thinking so deeply into it, the people that really enjoy those games probably have more thought put into that game than the developers themselves because they like that mystery. They like to think about the trying to understand all the weird story elements, why this is happening, why these characters are together, and it's that kind of passion that I really enjoy, and that's why I consider games a hero in themselves. You know, when because when you think about a comic book, you read stories like Superman, Batman. These are all heroes, but they're fictional. But people are really passionate about those. They like to read the stories because they like the heroics. They like the stories. They like the conflicts that come up with it. And it's the same with games. You know, we love heroes like Mario, Sonic, Mega Man. All of those characters provide a bigger understanding to the picture. It's like trying to figure out what makes us tick, you know? It's at the same point like trying to figure out what makes a fictional character tick. So that's what I really wanted to do with eHeroes. I just wanted to make that connection that characters can be funny, thoughtful, and the process behind them is should be celebrated because a lot of people worked behind these games to just make something entertaining, and with that effort, they've made something that people can enjoy for I don't know how long, but very they could be historical. We could find these things in museums probably like 100 years from
someday,
now.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to try to do with eHeroes. I there's like a hero in every element of it. The characters, the people that play them, and the people that made them. So it's just kind of like became that. I don't. I was just thinking of a silly name. I was like, oh God, what am I going to call this show? Electronic Heroes because it's about heroes, and just delved into something more.
It's, that's a really touching thought. That's I don't want to like think too deeply into that because I'm going to get all emotional. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I understand. But that's the thing about it. It's like you get really passionate about these sort of things because they're things you grew up with, and that's kind of what I wanted to portray. So, if it brings some sort of emotion, that's good
exactly.
because that's who we are as human beings. We're emotional creatures. As much as we'd like to envision these people like when I look at James Rolfe, I don't see I see a guy playing a character, but deep inside it's like he's a human being too.
Hmm.
You know, so he has like his passions, and honestly, you see it in a lot of his videos. Like when he's talking about his movie, this is something that he's really passionate about.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
He's
like you can understand the kind of emotions that he can go through with something that he really loves to do as well. So, that's just how I see things.
it.
And then, of
It's.
course, there are the jerks.
Uh,
So,
Oh man, way to twist it.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's one in every family.
oh, telling me.
Yeah.
Oh, all right then. Oh, well, I was thinking as well, as on along the lines of those electronic hero videos, you could easily just make them about like the emotional path to like tug on the heartstrings of all the viewers about this is what you love, love it,
Yeah.
this is who you are. But you also throw in some humor, and
Yeah.
it's really friendly. I'm not saying to, but your humor is it's really fresh. It's clean as well. And I was curious if that is just purely you, or perhaps comedians that you've grew up with, and it's rubbing off. It's rubbed off on you.
Yeah, it's funny because like I honestly, when it comes to humor, I like to keep it clean, just on a personal aspect. I mean, I watch stuff that's filthy as hell, but but it's like I have so many weird interests. I mean, but I have to really focus like on what would I find funny, and a lot of the times I really find humor in just being honest. It's like just making something silly up and being honest and just having some weird observational humor. And I kind of wanted to test myself in that regard because I'm really not a writer. I mean, I can a lot of the times I end up rewriting so many things that I've written because when I read it out loud, I say to myself, "Wow, that really sounds stupid. I need to change this right now." So and sometimes that will even evolve that line into something weirder and sillier. So it really is a process. But I grew up with a show called Mystery Science Theater 3000, and which is honestly a timeless show. It had like it just had weird observational humor, a lot of riffing, just very silly. Like they had puppets on the show. It was a show making fun of movies with puppets, and all of that mixed together is just like this is a brilliant show. I love this humor, and I want to just kind of put myself in a way. It's like, how would they write something like this? So that's kind of what I think. That's kind of what I think about, and also when it comes to clean humor, I kind of think about what my friend Lewis Lovehog. He's Linkara. He does the comic book reviews. He himself said that he wanted to try to make a show where you don't necessarily need to cuss to be funny. So he kind of did that as a challenge. And for myself, I also think that's kind of a challenge. So why not? I mean, I'll do like a hell or a damn every once in a while, but honestly, it's like I think it's funnier when you cut off a cuss word than when you actually have like a bleep or just say it out loud because sometimes it's like it can lose meaning if you just keep saying it.
True.
Yeah, but if you say it like in like once in a while, it can be an even powerful. It can have a more powerful impact when it's like all of a sudden or just out of the blue, and it's just like a mix of different things that I like to portray. That's all. I don't necessarily have like one specific thing that I'm inspired by. It's an amalgamation of different things. Like I love all of my friends at that guy with the glasses. I love their videos, and I draw a lot of inspiration from them, and and it goes the same with movies and television and stuff like that. So, but in terms of any one inspiration, I can't really say because I can't even pinpoint it. I don't know. I just know what makes me laugh, and that's what I write. So
You're
And
true
I
to
think that's
yourself.
I think that's the best way to go about it, because if there's something that makes you laugh, that's probably going to be the direction you're going to go. Because if you're going to be someone else's humor, then that's not being yourself. So, you might as well just go with what you know.
Yeah. Go with what you know.
Hmm.
Be true
Yeah,
to yourself,
yeah,
and it'll all work out. Really,
yeah.
maybe.
So, and if you make someone else laugh, then I think you've accomplished something. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Um. Okay. Last question. Have you
Mhm.
got any big plans for the future?
Quite a few. I want to keep Electronic Heroes going for about as far as I can take it, because eventually I would. I mean, I think this is like every video producer's dream, is to just live off of these videos that you make. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't even know if it's going to happen. But at the same time, it's like I think I'll just do it because I like to do it. And it really helps, because I set up a Patreon for people to kind of like tip for my videos, because it really does help me, because it'll help expand the things that I can do. Like I'll probably be getting a new camera at some point, a new microphone, and that'll just make the videos better in terms of quality. But for the time being, it's like I like what I'm doing so far. So if I can keep that going in between the work that I'm doing, then I think I can keep doing that, and hopefully more people will like it and watch it and subscribe and stuff like that. And really, it's like I it doesn't matter what I do if really Eheroes is successful because people watch it. So I'm really really thankful that people would take the time to watch someone like me talk about video games that I like. So really, that means more to me than money. So if I can help entertain people with stuff that entertains me, I mean that makes my day all the brighter. And then I can do other things, like I at some point I'm gonna start a web comic again. I would like to actually make a video game myself at some point, which I'm trying to develop as best as I can between all the other work that I've done. Um, but I do have a focus for that, and in the long run, I I can't tell what will happen in the future. I'll probably find another opportunity to make another short or a cartoon or a movie. Hopefully, this is all stuff that is in the future that I would also like to strive for. But at the same time, it's like I'll I'll, I'll put my effort and focus to as much as I can, is humanly possible. A human being the focus word of this. I am a human, and I do need to live.
Yeah.
so so in the long run, it's like I just want to. I really just want to do one of a successful thing of everything that I've grown up with. Like I want to make a TV show. I want to make a movie. I would like to make a video game. Just these are just goals that I've grown up with, and who knows? One of these days, I'll probably achieve one of each. So it's just one of those things where it's like, do the things that you love to do, but at the same time have those goals, because you never know when the opportunity is going to come. It's like I have so many ideas in the back of my mind that I have to keep them, and when the opportunity arrives, I will try to do my best to make it a reality. And I've done that a few times already, but thing things will continue to show opportunity. So yeah, I wish I could say like, oh, I have a movie coming out. It is, I, but no, I mean, the projects come and go, and you never know what will happen. I have those abilities to be prepared for when they happen. So I just have like a little bit of everything that I would like to do. But for the most part, it's like Electronic Heroes is coming. I do have a webcomic coming, and I do have plans for a game. But at the same time, it's like I don't know when that's going to happen because there's a lot of stuff
Yeah,
going
I
on.
hear you, man. Putting a game together is rough.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Well, yeah, it's like it's the whole thing about it is that I want to make sure that I can do it right. If I come up with a game, I want to know what I'm getting into because I've never worked in games before, but I do want to make a game and I do understand like the process in making one. I just want to make sure that when the time comes, I'll be prepared for the worst or the best or whatever, just like make something like that happen. And I think that's what everyone needs to understand. Is like they have to prepare for the worst, but at the same time keep their passions in check. It's like you have that passion, go for it. Just know that there are obstacles.
Exactly, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
get too cocky.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, well, I think that's it. That's everything. I can't squeeze anything else left out of you. Okay, then. Thank you very much.
Oh,
That was fantastic.
thank you, Casey. Thank you.
It's no problem. It was great to talk to you finally.
Yeah. No, it was great to talk to you. I do enjoy your show. I mean, I like to watch you play games and everything. It's kind of it's really fun. Just watching other people's interpretations of the games that they like. So, and that helps drive me as well because I like to understand other people's thoughts behind it. So, yeah, Antique Gamer Showcase. You better like, subscribe, and comment. You hear me?
Yeah, or I'll do some haunting or some. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what people are into. Ugh.
Oh, we don't know. We just need to do what we love to do.
Exactly.
The people will come.
Oh, what was that saying? Do what you love, and the money will come.
Oh,
They say.
no, I think it's like if you. I think it was like if you build it, they will come. That was like from
Oh, that was
the.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you build it, the money will come. Don't worry about it.
Ignore what I said. Oh wow,
Yeah.
man, and man, it's very late for me. You have to
Yes, it is.
understand. You have to
No, I understand. I understand.
a little bit sleep stoned. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
now you can get some sleep. So.
fantastic. Great. Oh man.